Hey folks, Rick Brown here, Bayou Knives, Crowville, Louisiana. I want to do another video for you today. This is a follow-up on the Savage Axis videos I made back last summer. And what I had in mind when I started this project was a budget, long-range, budget prepper guns. And I wanted to stay in the military readily available calibers of .308, .223. And I wanted to build a gun with a budget of about $1,000. And I had people ask me, well, if you're going to spend $1,000, why didn't you just go buy a Savage long range or buy a rifle that was already ready? And my response to that is, I didn't have $1,000 on hand at that time. I had $100 here, $200 there, and that's the way I intended to build it. And my idea is I added to be able to keep a functioning firearm. That was my objective, is that everything I did, I would keep a functioning firearm until I could buy the next step. So what I did was, I fully intended just to get the .308. And I went down to Walmart and I found the Savage Axis. I'd read a lot about it. It was supposed to be a very accurate gun. And I got a .308 from Walmart. It was $275 before tax. And my intentions was then to build from there. Well, at the time I bought this, there were no replacement stocks available for the Savage Axis. And one of the knocking points was that the stock is so flimsy on these guns and so thin in the wrist, and the trigger guard assembly is separate, and the forearm is so thin you can actually just twist it. You can actually flex the forearm with your hand. But I knew I could build from there, and I said hopefully in the future they would come out with stocks. Well, that started to happen, and the first thing I did was I used scopes that I already had. And last year I had a 4 to 12 Pentax on this .308, and I deer hunted with it, killed three bucks with it, perfectly happy. It's a fantastically shooting gun. But what I did was, I went out and bought the .223 before I started building on this gun. Because this gun was functional, it had a scope on it, and I could hunt with it, I went back and bought me a .223 Axis. That way I had two functioning guns. I had a 3 to 10 44mm scope that I put on the gun. But the first thing that I ran into was the scope mounting. Now these Axis guns are all long actions, so that means that the spacing between the front and rear rings is very long, and if you don't have a long tube scope, you can't get enough eye relief. You can't set the scope back far enough to see through it. So on this one I had a set of offset extension rings, and I mounted these, you can see them there, I mounted these Weaver extension rings and was able to set this scope back. So then I went ahead and used the .223 last summer. Then I was checking Amazon and I found a Picatinny rail for the Savage Axis for $14 off of Amazon. So I got that, and that would allow me to mount the rail. Well, my intentions was to buy the gun. Then the next thing, since I had a scope to put on it, the next sequence would have been do the trigger jobs. Well, I read on the internet how to do the trigger jobs, and I changed the springs out and slicked the triggers up to about 2.5 pounds, and I had them ready to go. What I intended was that my tactical scope then for this would be a Weaver Caspa, Weaver Caspa 3 to 12 at around $225. Well, I have an extremely good friend that he's been very fortunate in his life with his investments and his works, and he has enough money to afford the nice things, and he gave me this $1,500 Nikon 4 to 16 50mm 30mm tube target scope. So I'm extremely fortunate there. I've never intended to have a $1,500 scope on these guns, but what I intended was a $200 scope, because I've seen so many people make videos and talk about budget guns, but their budget allows for a $2,500 scope. My little budget does not. I don't get enough money from my disability and my military pension to more than pay for the gun, so what I make off of selling my knives, So I can't buy a $1,500 scope. So let's just overlook that. That was just a gift from God and a good friend. So what I intended to do then was to buy a Weaver Caspa for this gun. And then the next step would be one stock. Well, Boyd's had the stocks, and they finally got to where they were making these beautiful laminated stocks. This one's in black pepper is what they called it. And at first the lead time was 4 to 6 weeks. Well, by the time I got my money available, and it's only $109, $118 I think shipping and all. And by the time I got my money at the end of February, they had got the lead time down to less than 2 weeks. They were shipping them. So I ordered mine February 28th, and I got it yesterday. And I put it on, and I cited, when I checked the site, they have now come out with their tactical bench rest style, tactical A5 style stock for the Axis. So I'm going to get one of those. That'll be my next one. So I went on and put this one on the 223. Now this gun, except for maybe down the line changing and putting the Weaver Caspa scope on it, I'm finished with it. I'm not going to do any more to it. If I get through, when I finish the project, I may put one of the Rifle Basics triggers in this gun, but it shoots real good. I use it for coyotes. I use it to carry my carry gun on my four-wheeler during the summer, and I'm really pleased with it just like it is. Now on this gun, I intend to get order the tactical stock, which is it's $109 plus shipping, and it's in a black wrinkle type finish, you know, and it's a tactical wide forearm stock. And I'll put that on this gun, and that'll still leave them functional. And then the next step will be to order from E. Arthur Brown Company. They sell E.R. Shaw rifle replacement kits, rifle barrel kits. They're 24-inch barrels. You either get them in factory contour or varmint contour. And I'm going to get a 24-inch varmint contour 308. And it comes with a headspace gauge and the nut wrench, the barrel nut wrench, for less than $200, $195 I believe. That'll be the next step on this gun. But right now this gun's still functional. Then once I get my tactical stock from Boyd's, it'll still be functional. It has the tactical scope already. I don't have to buy one for that. And then the next step will be to put the Rifle Basics trigger in it. And then on SavageShooters.com for them, there's a man that makes extended magazines. And I plan to get me some 10-round magazines, and then the Rifle Basics 1-pound trigger. That will finish that gun up. It'll be a 24-inch varmint contour, heavy contour barrel in 308 for this gun. And I plan to shoot 168 grain Sierra Match King bullets that I load myself. In this gun I shoot 69 grain Sierra Match Kings in it, and it shoots really well. It's a 1-in-9 twist, and it'll stabilize them. So there you see, you know, the progress that I've made. And like I said, now this scope was just a gift from God. That's just all I can say is my friend gave me that scope, and when it retailed about $1,395, $1,400, somewhere in that neighborhood, and it's just unbelievable scope. So I'm extremely proud of that, and I will put the Weaver 4 to 12 Caspa scope on this gun, because I have tried one of them on a friend of mine's gun, and I'm very, very pleased with it. So there you see. Okay, the gun was $300. Then the Picatinny rail was $14, and I think $3 shipping, so we'll say $17. And then a stock is $120. So we got 300, 120 is 420, and just say 20 for this is 440. Then the barrel will be $200. That's $640. Then the Rifle Basics trigger is $100. There, so we've got 300 and 120 for a stock is 420. Then 20 for the rails, 440. Then the barrel will be $200. Will be $640. Then you would have the price of scope. If you go with the Weaver scope, they have it's $220. So you're looking at $860. Now, right now, Sportsman's Guide has Pentax 30mm tubed, 50mm objective lens, tactical scopes for less than $150. I think the 3 to 16 is about $139. They have a some 6 to 24, and they have an 8 to 32 that are all less than $200. So that would be a great option to put on either one of these guns. And that may be what I go with here. I may go ahead, since they're on sale, and buy the scope for this gun before I buy this stock. But that's what I've been doing. I have to buy one piece at a time, and I wanted to keep a functioning gun while I was building. I didn't want to tear the gun all apart and then have to wait for a year to get the parts. So I've had these guns for a year now, and this is the progress that I've made. I now have this tactical scope on here. As I said, that was a gift. This gun's still functional, even though it's got the nylon stock on it. This gun now has a Boyd stock, and I really love the Boyd stock. I mean, they are completely drop-in. Take your old one off. They even come with their own trigger guard. And take your screws, put right on it. Magazine pops right in. The magazine actually fits better in this gun than it did in this stock than it did the factory stock. Now this stock would just fit right on this gun also. If I didn't, I could just swap back and forth. But what you have to do is, even though all of these are long action, you still order your stock by short action or long action. So if it's in 223 or 308 or 243 or 22-250, they're all going to, that's short actions you order. Then if you have it in 30-06 or 270 of that nature, you would order it with a long action stock. But they make this in what they call nutmeg, which is like a two-tone brown, and then they make it in camouflage. And now they have the tactical stock that'll be in a black matte finish, baked on finish, with more of a like a Millen A5 tactical style stock with a wide forearm, 2 sling swivel studs on the front, the long, almost vertical grip in the back, and the high comb, and the butt stock has the hook in the back for holding on to with your hand. So that's where I'm at now with these guns, and I'm really pleased. The guns shoot fantastic. They're a great deal. Even if you just go buy the gun at $300 and throw it in your vehicle like it is, with just some kind of little cheap 3-9 scope on it, you're still going to have a great shooting gun that's really functional. But then you can build from there. These are considered some of the stiffest actions there is because they're a solid action except for the ejection port. There's a solid bridge here, and when you put the Picatinny rail on, it becomes even more solid because it bolts from front to rear all the way across. So there you go. Now you can get on the internet and look and find deals. Like I said, I found the Picatinny rail for $14. Everywhere else I looked, they were $40-something for EGWs and that stuff. I found that one on Amazon. It's a Weaver base Picatinny rail for $14 in shipping. I looked around on the internet and found the barrel, from E. Arthur Brown. I can get the E.R. Shaw barrel for less than $200, and a Schilling barrel was over $300. A Criterion barrel was over $300. Any of the Savage drop-in barrels. But what I liked about the Shaw was they come with the go and no-go gauge, your head spacing gauges, and the wrench, the barrel nut wrench, in one kit for less than $200. That's what I'm going to do, and when I get my next step, I'll make another video and let y'all know. In the meantime, be sure to go on Facebook and like Bayou Knives on Facebook, or go check my website out at www.bayouKnives.webs.com. And as I always say, have a great day today and a better day tomorrow. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for watching.